Hello everyone. Today we will be restarting our blouse that we left off, beginning with the sleeve, a simple sleeve cutting. We were taking it from the blouse. I will be showing you how. So we can place the sleeve on just like this. Facing side, I fold my material, adding this one sleeve, and you can trace. Seam line, I will try to trace or draw that. Same shape. You can go out a little bit if you want to make gather sleeve, different style of sleeves. Now, I like this sleeve, but I would make it short. So there, we already marked that off, and we will cut it out. Usually for my hemming, I would like a fold here because edging would fit exact when I hem it. Now I like to put a little notch so this way I know my middle. There we go. Sleeve is ready. Next, we need a binding for our front of this blouse. We can always open our material, place the neck over this material. Then again, we can also mark that, or we can cut. Remember, I just need a binding, so I'm cutting my bottom material only. Now, how I do my binding? Fold the two together now. Nice and even. And it depends on the width that I will be making my binding. Because this is an outer stitch line, I would like to get only 1/2 inch when I'm finished stitching. So this means I will be cutting it only 1 inch. Now my back neck needs one as well. Because we have a little cut there. I don't have enough this way, so I will turn my material just to save fabric. So remember, I have a cut in the middle. I'll just stoop it down there. Now I will be folding it back again. That's how my binding, back binding. We'll give it a shape, and you can make any shape you like. This is a freehand cut shape. There we go, we finished binding. We can also take it over to the machine right now. This is the binding bottom. This is the easiest way. Hem it first. Wrong side, right side. This is the wrong, so we want to place it up, right side up, because this would turn on the right and right facing each other. So when we turn, we will have wrong and wrong facing. See, I didn't use pin because I'm easing the material to fit. But you can also use a pin as you go along because beginners would need pins. Now, we always giving notches because there is swoops there. If we don't, we will not get a straight neck. A few little notches right by the curve. Now there is a top stitch we would like to put. This would be sitting right here. Edge of the seam, inside for the binding. Now another fold. We can do a pressing first if you need it to press, but it seems like my material is a very nice for seam line. See, when I place it down, it stays. So I will just make my top stitch as needed now. And I'm using my foot for a guide, so I know I'm doing it very straight. And there you go, the binding neck is done. Next, I want to do my back. We'll be doing back binding by placing right side on the right side. So here is my right. Open it up. This is my right, facing right. Now, because I need a little loop in a corner here for buttons, I should make a little loop. This is button loops. If you fold two together facing each other and make one more fold, we can get a nice tiny loop. And I will show you how we do the button loops. So we would want it about an inch, less than an inch long. Or you can just put a stitch on it and get your loop ready for when you reach the button point. Okay. So I will put this underneath. And we will follow the binding every cut. Drop your needle, turn. There, we always wanted to make sure our notches deep down because we need to turn. And then again, remember we have some curve here. We need to put 2 notches each. Now here is the button loop. There we got it. By pressing it, we can also seam it with our fingers, because like I said, this is a nice fabric that likes to work with beginners. You can use cotton, polyester. It's the easiest ones to work with first. Now I will not do a back stitch because putting it on there, I don't need a back stitch, but I need one of these inside stitch to lay flat. And I will stop here, and I want to make another one inside here. Now remember, it will take a hemming and underneath the binding as well before I join my shoulder. Also have to do all the edges before you close up, because it can be a little harder when you leave it for last. So when you turn it, the wrong side will stay on the wrong side, and we have a nice binding edge. When we press it, we will see the effect right away, how beautiful it is. But then, needed to join our shoulders. So the shoulders would go right side, facing right side, and I want the binding to go over this edge, because this would be showing by the neck. So I will place that, fold it down nicely. There. Less than ½ inch allowance is enough for stitching. And I will do the other side. It's waiting for me here. The same thing. We will place it right by the binding edge. We will turn the binding nicely over so you have a finished edging near to the neckline. And if you don't reach there, you can always give a slight little trim. Let's see. Yeah, this is what my shoulder edging look like, and this again is what close up to the neck look like. And we are good with putting shoulders together. Next we will be doing our sleeve on the blouse. Our next step is we will be putting on our sleeve. First, I always like to do my bottom of the sleeve, get it ready before I put it on the blouse. So this one takes a hemming. I look for my right side because the hemming would be like a short sleeve. You can also put some pins here, but for me, I don't need a pin because it's a nice material to work with. So remember, this is going to be the wrong side. You would place that again to know where is the wrong side by flipping it, facing each other, and then this is where you want to hem. around an inch wide is my hem. So now both of my sleeves are ready for putting them on into my armhole, but first I would like to check my armhole if it's enough or I have extra, because I have to know what to work with, a pleat or some notches. Looks like I have some extra for a little bit of show notch here. Gathers, make a style. Let's see. First you open your armhole. Sleeve will be placing right and right. Start with the edging of that armhole of the sleeve to the armhole. You can pin it as well as you go along. You can put some pins, because we will turn and stretch until we reach. It takes a little bit of release and pull, because remember we're coming to the sleeve curve. Yeah, looks like my notch is right by the shoulder joint, so I don't have to do any gathers. You just make sure the two reach together. If the edging are evenly reached, then that means you get a perfect fit sleeve. And my next sleeve is over here, so I will turn my blouse. Remember, I have a little extra here. I think I want to just give it a little trim. You can only take off a little bit, and I face the right side to the right side again and go. So remember, you stretch a little on the sleeve and release the bar. Not much pulling, no pressure. And make sure edging reach edging, and we should be good to put the sleeves on here. Now we measure when we come to the curve. Yes, I am right there. And we finish with the next short sleeve. Next, we will do a side seams. Look like we're closing up. We will close up our blouse pretty soon. So we have the side seams to do. If you're not doing a serge at all, some people might not have a serging machine, so I'll show you this style. You can do a very, very small taken in from the outside of the blouse. Remember, it's not even a quarter. And I will show you the other one. When we're done, it looks like it overlaps. You can get in now in the wrong side. And fold, go ½ inch if you like. Now you have your regular stitching allowance. You want to see what it looks like? You have a clean inside on the wrong seam. Wow. You don't have to worry about any serging. Now we will do the other side. trim slightly because you want a very small seam line when we do our second inside stitch. So you see I trim that. So when I turn it into the wrong side, we will give a nice seam, less than 1/2 inch sizing. Make sure you follow your seam all the way down. Now, turn it back inside out, and there we get a perfect stitch. Very neat, and we don't need serging inside because we have it as a double seam already. Now next thing we're going to be doing a hemming. Because I already cut enough, maybe around a 22 long, this top is just enough with length, so I will give it a small hemming. Turn it and hem. If you like, you could have trimmed all the thread before folding and give a press. Put some pins in it if you like. But I said this is a nice fabric to work with for me, so I don't really need pins. There you go. I think we almost completed this blouse. The only thing left behind is our button on top. So there we go. Button on. We will get my thread ready in the needle. I found a nice little white button for this blouse. Now, we want to know exact spot for this button by closing up the loop. Edging to edging, loops will be in here, so in order to do that we will pass the needle through the loop. That's the exact spot where we would want to put our button. We'll take the loop out, start sewing. Now the button have this little one eye, and I will be doing it like this. I know this would be simple. All beginners should be able to put a button on. If you don't know, come to Laleta on YouTube. In order to knot my thread at the bottom, you just make a loop, put it in like that, and pull like a chain. Now one more time, make a loop, pass your needle through, and pull. Now I can cut my thread, and my button is ready. There. Beautifully done. We're waiting for pressing this top and it's ready to wear. Now we get our blouse completed. All side stitches, everything is done. I put my buttons on. Now I will be pressing. And I will show you this beautiful blouse. You want to make sure the neck is nice and round. And then yeah, side hemming. So remember, it's a beautiful material to work with. So if you're a beginner and you're starting to sew, the perfect material to get started with is cotton, polyester, and the ones like this. So there you go. I show you how to make the simple blouse from no pattern, no freehand cut, using another blouse for our pattern. So this is a miracle blouse. It turned out so beautiful.